Hey folks, Orcas Island Swim Runners, welcome to our fifth edition here in 2023. My name is Lars Finanger, one of the Odyssey and now Otelo Swimrun producers. We're stoked to be part of the Otelo family for those who haven't heard. I'm joined by Brent Molesbury, who is the race founder of the Orcas course, and Aaron Pallion over there in Michigan. He'll be joining us at Orcas as well. I think he's been there for each of the editions. Brent, of course, is out of Bellingham, Washington, so he's boots on the ground. But yeah, we're really excited to have you guys for the fifth edition this year. This race has gotten actually so big that we've even brought the Camp Moran lodging back this year with camping options. So most of the Airbnbs were sold out on Orcas, and so we rented out Camp Moran, and we have camping back as an option. But Brent can tell you more about that. One thing quickly before I pass the torch over to Brent. Something very excited for those at the pointy end of the field this year. The top three, meaning the overall men's, the overall women's, and the overall mixed teams, get a direct qualifying slot to the Otelo World Championships in 2024. So for some, that's something that's very cool. And then also you do have the opportunity to get max points for the swimrun rankings this year, which is really cool. But yeah, Orcas is it's a beast of a race, and there's no one better to tell you about that than Brent, who designed this course from scratch. You're going to love this guy throughout the day. You're going to hate this guy throughout the day. As the polls on our Instagram showed, it's complicated. So without further ado, Brent, take it away.
All right. Thanks for the intro, Lars. Yeah, we're excited to have you for the fifth edition of the Orcas Island Swimrun. Current long range forecast looks like a beautiful day for swimrun. We have had a very nice summer up here weather-wise, and it's looking like it's going to continue for the weekend. So we're excited to have you. I'm going to hand it over to Aaron here to cover a few logistical items, and then we'll get back to the course preview.
Do you want to talk about the camping just a little bit?
Oh, yeah. So as Lars mentioned, we have the Camp Moran Environmental Learning Center this year. This is basically like the kid camp you went to when you were a kid. So there's bunk houses with varying numbers of bunks in them. There's a big main lodge that has like a big industrial kitchen and open spaces. And then there's also some spaces for setting up tents. So if you're still looking for a place to stay on Orcas, you can come join us there. We'll have breakfast provided for you race morning. It's right in the park. It's probably a 5-minute drive to the start finish area. Got hot showers for you. If you are staying, you definitely want to bring some food. You can utilize the refrigerator there at the camp. You also need to provide any sort of bedding. So there's bunks, but you'll need to provide sleeping bags and pillows, and then also bring your own towel, soap, that kind of stuff. But it's a great location, beautiful spot, and the race course goes right by it.
Great. Thanks, Brent. I'm going to actually keep that open for those of you that want to go into your add-ons, and you can go in there, sign in to run sign up, and you can add that to those add-ons, pay for it, and you can do that all the way until end of day on Wednesday. So we're going to export the list and assign some rooms tomorrow, and we'll do it again on Wednesday, and that'll be it. So if you have any questions, email us about that, and we'll take care of you. So I am going to share my screen, guys. On 1 second. All right. You guys can see that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is obviously the Orcas page of our website, and I'm going to scroll by all the stuff you guys already know or can check out on your own. We're just going to talk about the stuff that we need to maybe go over in this. We're going to come back to the maps. This is the swag items you guys will get. So when you sign up, you're going to be assigned a bib and a swim cap. And we're planning at the end of the race to pass these out. That may change. Just be aware with our races. You may get your hoodies at the finish. You may get them at packet pickup, but you're also due a hoodie. of this color. They're really cool, great for running, nice and thin. So that's what you'll get there. If you're a team, you're going to have the same number, same exact bib, and you'll get one chip to wear between you. Doesn't matter who has that. Same color swim cap for each of you. And if you're solo, you'll just get this one. You'll get a rest tube and you'll get your chip as well. The chip numbers do not match the numbers you're assigned, but they are linked together, so it doesn't matter which one we use to identify you. So we'll get back to that in just a second. Let's keep going down here. So event schedule. On Saturday at 1 o'clock, short course athlete packet pickup starts. So from 1 to 2, these are not set in stone, meaning that if you're long course, you can come during short course or vice versa, or you can even come from 3 to 4. If you can abide by this schedule, we would greatly appreciate it, though. We have had an instance this year where everyone showed up in the first hour instead of waiting, and it got very crowded. So we'll have something in place to handle that if it happens, but if you could stick to the time we assign you, it would be greatly appreciated. So let's, before we jump to the next day here for the schedule, let's go up and go over to packet pickup, which is also on the site here. I am not sure if I've changed this, but you guys can, USA Triathlon, which is what we use for sanctioning and insurance. They used to, if you do tries, you know this, but they used to require that it was just you picking up the packet. They were super strict as per the insurance guidelines. They have loosened that up, allowing us to not only mail packets for other things we do, but to allow someone to pick up their packet for you. The stipulation says, though, that you have to have a copy of their ID, whether that's a physical copy or a picture on your phone or whatever it is. You can even have their ID with you, and then something stating that you have permission to do that. A text is fine, an email written out on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. So their license and ID somehow and permission, and you can get that for them. We ask that none of you show up and, you know, try to get 7 or 8 other bibs for different people. Keep it to your team, maybe one other person, and go from there. Otherwise, it really holds the lineup. So when you show up, we're going to assign your race bib number singlet if you're on a team, and you can show up together or just pick up your teammates if they're not there. That helps us. We don't want to split those up. It just creates a mess. You're going to get a silicone swim cap, and you'll get a collapsible cup. Do you guys have one on you by chance? Okay. No. A collapsible cup, which you use, it is a cupless race to eliminate trash. So just carry that collapsible cup on you, just in your wetsuit, crush it down, or a pocket or whatever you can put it in. You will get a timing chip and an ankle strap. So like I said, each team gets one, and each solo obviously gets their own as well. Again, it does not match your number, but it will be linked to it. You're going to get a rest tube if you're a solo athlete only. That is a rental. You're going to have to return that and your timing chip. Everyone returns timing chips, and then the rest tubes come back at the end as well. The only other thing you're going to return is if you rented a wetsuit. I do believe if you still need one, we have some left. I don't know what sizes they are. It is limited, but you can go into your Run Sign Up account and you can add those as well. And if you borrow one of those from us, you're going to get that at packet pickup, and we expect it back at the end. Please empty out the pockets if you could. That would be great. And then just return that and you are good to go. There are some of you that paid for race morning packet pickup. And if you did, we will have your packet ready for you race morning. There should be someone there at the packet pickup desk inside the pool, the beach house. If not, look for just bags there that have names written on them. Your name will be on it and it'll be sealed, and you can take your bag, and everything you need should be in there. We will probably have those stuffed prior to packet pickup the day before. So if you're someone that paid for that race morning and you show up to get your packet, and whoever's doing it, it'll probably be me, but if it's someone else and they can't find your name, or it's checked in already and it's confusing, that's probably because we pre-made your packet and you're checked in. So just let them know in that case, hey, I was going to pick it up race morning, I'm not. That might be why it's like that. So we'll get it no matter what there. Mandatory gear check. We don't do that at packet pickup. You guys are all adults, but we trust that you're going to abide by those rules. If you haven't even looked at the mandatory gear, make sure you do that. It's under info and the frequently asked questions and rules. I'll have Brent and Lars go over that when they're talking about the course if they want. We do periodically, if we don't think you have the gear you should on the course or start at the finish, wherever, we might look at that. So just make sure that you have that on you. And we don't do a briefing. This is the briefing. We used to do it in person, but this is more convenient for everyone, including you guys. And other than that, we will have some merchandise, not a lot, as we kind of transition from Odyssey to Otelo, but we will have some there for sure, including a special edition shirt. We do have a handful of wetsuits and ARC merchandise as well. One of our sponsors will have a lot of stuff there from them. So
Aaron, I do now have the collapsible cup and the flask.
Okay. Oh, forgot to mention that. Yeah.
So I would actually highly recommend for this course a flask. The collapsible cup does come with your registration, so we'll include one of those bad boys in your packet, but we will be selling foldable flasks as well. And because of, especially with the long course race, on the backside of Constitution in the Mount Pickett area, you're going to be away from aid stations for a while. With the longer run legs, I would definitely recommend the a flask.
Thanks, Lars, for that. And guys, I'm talking a little fast. We were joking about how long these meetings take us. So we're trying to fit it in around 40, 45 minutes or less for you guys. So you're not sitting here all day. But going back to the event schedule, I'm going to skip down for a second to the important addresses and go back up to that in a minute. So down here, you'll find where you get on the ferry to Orcas. It's the Anacortes Ferry Terminal. Packet pickup here is at Rosario Resort and Spa Beach House. Coordinates are there. There's not an actual address for that, although if you just put in the address for Rosario, it'll take you real close. The start and finish line is just outside in the grassy area. You can't miss it when you get to packet pickup. And then the last address here is the ferry from Orcas Island back over to Anacortes. So miscellaneous info down here. I have the mandatory gear, which actually I thought was in a different section, so that's convenient. We provide, like I said, swim cap, number bib, collapsible cup, rest tube, timing chip, and ankle strap. Make sure that timing chip and ankle strap is on the outside of whatever you have, please. We had some people at Casco Bay wearing some compression socks, actually quite a few, and they wore it on the inside of the sock, and it does affect the reading. So make sure it's on the outside. Doesn't matter which leg. Doesn't matter who crosses first, but you guys do have to be close together. But make sure it's visible and on the outside. You are, I don't know if we require goggles anymore, Lars, do we?
Oh man, Aaron's saying that because I did not wear goggles in Sweden at the Worlds this last week, and it was fantastic. But having said that, no, you can do whatever you want. But I think the water is extremely clear in Orcas, in those alpine lakes. But yeah, that's up to you.
Shoes, guys, when you get in and out, it's possible there's all kinds of stuff that you could step on. So definitely shoes. Wetsuit is mandatory. You can wear whatever wetsuit you want, although we do recommend a swim run one. It is easier and more comfortable, but you do need one. A whistle, a compression bandage, and a tether. And I don't know, do you want to go over any of those more, Lars?
Just the only thing is the tether is not mandatory to wear, but we do require teams bring a tether in case we have to put some kind of emergency, into play due to, wind or, conditions on the water. So that's why we require that every team bring those.
And we get questions about the compression bandage, but guys, this link here will take you to some. I don't know if there's enough time with shipping to still get it shipped to you, but any compression bandage I've seen usually comes in a water sealed package. But if you have one that isn't, you can always just put it in a plastic bag, and that keeps it pretty good. Most plastic bags will. Just make sure it's sealed up. Let me just go through this real quick here. Ferry tickets. Brent, I never really grasped how this works. I know they're sold in thirds and all that weird stuff. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so we're within the last week. So if you haven't been able to get the ferry reservations that you wanted, there's still 30% of the reservable spots that will come available. So if you want to come out Friday, they will come available 48 hours before. So on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, the remaining 30% of the ferry reservations for Friday come available. So if you need ferry reservations for Friday, get on there at 7 a.m. Pacific time Wednesday morning. If you're looking for Saturday reservations, it's 7 a.m. Thursday morning that the remaining 30% of the boat comes available. And they always leave 10% of the boat available for drive ups. But if you are just driving up and trying to get on, you might have to wait a while. So get there early. Reservations are definitely the way to go.
And you can always just take a seaplane in. So
yeah, check out Kenmore Air.
Change of clothes bags, guys. You can leave that in the beach house. That's not a problem that morning. Just be aware, and we've never had any issue with this. I say this in every meeting, but be aware that we're not responsible for your phone or keys or anything you leave in there. So we recommend that you don't leave anything in there of value, and that it's a bag you can easily identify so nobody else tries to take it on accident. We'll get to the cutoff times during the race. Same with restrooms, although I'll point out there are restrooms at the beach house there at Rosario, and hydration's a course thing, safety's course. So awards, as you cross the line, we try to hand out the awards so that it's convenient, not only so that we get that off our plate and it's handed out correctly, but we know a lot of you have plane or flights to catch and things to do after. So we try to just get those out right away. And then lodging's down there if you need to see that. So let's go back up to the event schedule. So let's see here. Okay, so short course will begin at 9, but long course begins at 7:30, an hour and a half earlier. They both start in the same spot. 6:30 parking begins at Rosario. 7:20 is the anthem. 7:30 is the long course start. Short course is the same kind of thing. 6:30 you can park as early as you want there. 8:50, 10 minutes before, we do the anthem and announcements, and 9 o'clock that race starts. So we'll get to the cutoffs as we go along, but I'm gonna switch over here to Brent, and he's gonna talk about the course. This is the long course map. Go ahead, Brent, whenever you're ready.
All right. So as Aaron mentioned, this is the long course map. The long course and the short course share the short course does the bulk of the early part and the late part of the long course, and the long course basically keeps going from there. So the start finish is at Rosario Resort down there on Cascade Bay. So you're going to do a short run. It's about a mile long from the start, and that's going to do kind of a loop through the resort. Then you're going to come in and you're going to do everyone's favorite swim 1. And again, this is both the short and long course, is a short swim in the bay. This is your one and only saltwater swim, and it will remind you why you don't do any more saltwater swims. So that water is cold. It's a short swim. You've had to warm up, and I promise you, you're going to warm up real quick on your way up that hill. Once you exit that swim, you loop kind of back through really close to the start finish area, and then it's a steep climb that comes out of the backside of Rosario Resort and climbs up to Cascade Lake. Swim 2 is in what's called Rosario Lagoon. Again, another shorter swim. You're going to pop out by a really cool bridge there. And after you pop out of the bridge, you're going to take a right, and you're going to run along the shore there where you see R3, kind of along that south shore of Cascade Lake. You're going to loop around. Now, the last 2 years, we were going in the campground that was right there for that transition. You're going to keep going a little bit past the campground to the original transition area, which is the Camp Moran beach area. And so right where that arrow for R3 is. So from there, you're going to swim across the lake in a westerly direction. You're going to get out of the water, and you're going to take a right, heading basically in a northerly direction. Again, not a lot of elevation gain on this run. This comes to the cliff jump. Anytime you're jumping, this is always feet first. You'll see arrows and points, and you've probably seen photos of this online if you haven't done it before. It's maybe 10-foot drop. There is a kind of sneaker line to the right if you don't want to take a jump, but most people end up doing the jump. Make sure you hold on to all of your items. There's definitely a few things that have been lost from people, including goggles. Somebody was wearing flippers and lost one of those one year. So make sure
I've photographed there every year, and I was in the water last year, and I would say 1 out of 3 people when they jump don't hold it, and they lose their stuff. It's a ton.
Yeah.
And Aaron is also case in point why you do the jump and don't go down the slippery rocks on the other side. I think as a camera guy, he took a nice little spill going down to the water.
Now I get in on purpose, though. I have my water gear with me, so I'll be in there. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, so that's a short jump into the water, and then again, swim 4 shoots across Cascade Lake to the Cascade Lake picnic area. This will be the first aid station. Again, the short and long course are all sharing this. So that's your aid station 1. Now it's kind of your first real climb. You're going to go on the Cascade Lake Loop Trail, and you're going to make your way up from Cascade Lake to Mountain Lake. You cross a road basically right below where it says R5 right there, just to the left there. You're going to cross one paved road and then keep climbing up next to Cascade Creek. And you'll cross another bridge here right at the outflow of Mountain Lake. And then this is where the short course and long course start diverging. And so the long course is going to hop in kind of at that south end of Mountain Lake. And this is your longest swim. It's almost a mile for swim 5. Or swim 5. And so this goes all the way up to a little tiny island. Run 6 there is only about 30 yards, but it's a very rugged little island that you come across. And then swim 6 is a very short swim, getting you back to the main portion of the shoreline. Once you get to shore, you're going to take your left. You're going to come down to what's called Mountain Lake Landing, and this is aid station number 2. So for the long course from this point, here's your big climb for the day. So this is the climb up Mount Constitution. This entire R7 run until you get to the next aid station 3, is all uphill. This is your monster climb. This is somewhere where you really want to try and like conserve your energy, be efficient, because if you go out too hard, this climb alone can basically do you in for the rest of the day.
And this is also where the I believe the first cutoff is. That's what that red X is. So let me just
there's one cutoff at the base,
which is 11:30, guys.
Yeah. So the 11:30 cutoff is at that water station there at Mountain Lake Landing. 12:30 cutoff is up here at the top. And so this is the very summit of Mount Constitution. There's a cool like 6-story stone viewing tower up there. If you haven't been up there on previous trips, or if you're out here visiting, like take a day trip up there. It's spectacular views. You'll realize just how high up you really are. It's just over 2,400 feet from the sea level that you started at. Then from here, you're going to descend down the backside of Constitution. There is an aid station top of Mount Constitution as well. Be sure you fuel up there, because this next section is the biggest chunk that you have without much in the way of aid stations. So you're going to send down the backside. You do 2 swims there on Twin Lakes, swim 7, swim 8, and then you're going to climb up again. This time you're climbing up to Mount Pickett, and there is an aid station here at the top of Mount Pickett. So we get permission to bring a truck back in there, and I believe it will be my cousin and Tommy and Catherine will be your aid station crew there. So say hi to them as you come through. You're going to start down kind of like a logging road, and then you're going to take a hard left onto onto a single track trail. And the single track trail kind of follows along basically the eastern boundary of the park. And then right where the arrow is right now, where there's this hard 90-degree turn, we're going to sign this very, very well. If you've done it before, you know how important this corner is, because if you don't make this right-hand turn, that trail keeps descending a long ways down. And we call that area the Pit of Despair. And so you want to avoid the Pit of Despair, make the hard right. This trail actually climbs a little bit and then basically traverses back over until you hit the logging road. You're going to come down to Mountain Lake. Now you're going to make a hard right-hand turn, and you're going to run along that eastern shore of Mountain Lake, and then you swim straight across to Mountain Lake Landing. At Mountain Lake Landing, here's your next aid station. From here, you have 3 more swims on Mountain Lake that are up at the north end. So you run that western shore now. There's a rope swing right by the start of swim 10. And so you'll shoot across the lake on swim 10, short run for run 11, back to this little island here at the north end of the lake, short run across the island, and then you're going to swim back to the shoreline. And this is a great rocky transition. And then you're going to run the shoreline of Mountain Lake. Now, in your mind, you're thinking like this is all downhill. The finish has to be downhill from here. There is one little climb along this shoreline that you're going to feel. And then it's generally kind of along the shoreline. And once you get to the south end of the lake, you're going to drop into the Cascade Creek Valley, and you're going to follow the creek down. This is one area where you kind of backtrack a little bit, but you're going to take a hard left off the kind of logging road you're on onto single track. This is going to go down, take another left, cross a really cool little bridge below Cascade Falls, and then you continue on crossing the road, the Olga Road, there right by where it says R13, and you're going to run back down to the Cascade Lake campground. You're going to take a right.
Damn it. Hold on.
Ooh,
Sorry.
monkey.
Let me refresh. I don't know what happened there. Okay, go ahead. It was so
All right.
good, and I screwed it up.
Yeah. You take a right back to the Camp Moran beach, swim across Cascade Lake for your last swim of the day. And once you get out, you're going to take a hard left, cross the wooden bridge. And then this section, R14 right here, where it's along Rosario Lagoon, is a very technical section. It's flat, but it's very technical. And so take your time on that. And then it's the descent back down to the finish. And the Pizza Rocks guys will be there handing out your wood-fired pizza.
Should we have them swim in the bay one more time to like before the finishing shoot?
We could. I don't think they'd like us very much.
Yeah, there might be some race attrition that way.
Yeah, there would be some mutiny.
I mean, you know, folks, Brent made it sound so simple looking at this cute little map, you know, nice graphics that Aaron designed. That R9, I mean, if it's not giving you nightmares, it should. It is a beast. And just Brent talking about it, I mean, you might even consider 2 flasks, because race nutrition is so important on that, really from the base of Mount Constitution to Mount Pickett. You just want to make sure that you're topped on fuel, and it can be a real disaster if you run out. So, you know, just think about that in advance, and be overly cautious and overly conservative with your nutrition in that section, because your race can take a real downturn if you're not prepared.
Yeah, and you can see the elevation profile down there at the bottom of the map. And go back to the long course map, Aaron. Oh, there we go. And so you can see like that climb up to Constitution is no joke. And then that climb up to Pickett is also substantial. And when you add up all those climbs throughout the day, like you're doing over 25 miles, about almost 19 of it running, and 6,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. So
and if it doesn't look like there's a flat section of road, that's because there's not.
Brent, do you want to?
You signed up for this, so yeah. You know, this is why the relationship with Brent is complicated. You're going to look all around you. It's the most amazing trails you've ever been on in your life, the most amazing scenery, but it is also a quad and lung buster.
Yeah,
you're gonna love him and hate him all at once.
It's such a beautiful area, and you'll just be blown away by the scenery and the trees and the moss-covered fairyland forests and the views that you get up Constitution. It's an incredible place. All right, so right now Aaron has the short course pulled up, and you can see here that the differences on the short course come at Mountain Lake. And so when we zoom into Mountain Lake, when you're coming up from Cascade Lake, you're running along Cascade Creek, and then you're going to take a left, and they continue running right along the shoreline all the way to the aid station there at Mountain Lake Landing. From that point, it's a run along the shore, and you kind of do the little island swim in reverse. So you're going to cut out to the small island, run 6 again, is that short, like 30-yard rugged island, and then you kind of diagonal across to the southeast, across to the lake, to this little cove. And now you're going to follow the shoreline back along that eastern shore of Mountain Lake, head down the creek, cross under Cascade Falls, back down to, again, the Camp Moran beach, and then one last swim 7 for the short course, and then the left and down the technical trail back down to the finish.
All right.
It is a beast. It's a beast. The best pizza you're going to taste in your life, though, at the finish line. Aaron, we're going to put shackles on Aaron so he doesn't eat it all by the time that you
please. Got there. I get like one slice of that stuff. I'm not even there. I'm out working, guys. Working.
That's because you know they'll keep slinging pizzas until you say enough. So these guys are fantastic. So
yeah. I wanted to just mention real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Lars. The long course, though, guys, like I don't know why there isn't an X on the map. Sorry about that, but at the bottom of Constitution, where Brent said it's 11:30, and we get emails about this. That's why we got to go over it here. An hour later at 12:30 at the top of Mount Constitution, the south end of Mountain Lake, it's 2 o'clock, and then 4:30 at the finish line. And that is for long course. The only cutoff that we have for short course, because most long course is going to be who's really going to be an issue if there is any issue with long course or with the cutoff. But again, that's just going to be 4:30 at the finish line for short course. So.
Yeah, no, I have nothing further to add. Just you know, you can see the distances on there. You know, run distance for long course, total distance almost 22 miles. For short course, almost 11 miles. It's the elevation is you know is the beast there. You know, just whether you're doing a solo, if you're doing a solo, really conserve your energy. Possibly link up with another solo athlete who's you know, in and around you, work together. Look after one another. That's kind of, you know, the basic tenet of swim run is to look out for one another. And at no point is it more important really than the backside of Constitution, where it would be very, very difficult for us to get medical attention quickly to you. So, you know, to look out for one another is very important back there. And it makes the race and the experience more fun for everyone as well. And, you know, short courses, you're going to get rocked too. This course is a beast, and you're definitely going to get your value in. Let's just say that. So,
do you want to talk for just a second? Because I know for people that have done swim run, it's not really an issue, but for the newbies, about sticking with your teammate and not separating by much, and you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes the tether nice. The distances, technically, we say you need to be within 100 yards of one another on the run, and 10 yards within one another on the swim. But really what that means is this is a team race where you stick together. If you get out of a swim leg and you're standing on the shoreline for minutes, looking around for your teammate, you've done it wrong. You should be aware of where your teammate is at all times. That's both for safety's sake, but also because this is a team event where you're in it together. That means you're going to go through this roller coaster where maybe one feels good while the other isn't feeling so good, and vice versa. And you have to figure out, you know, how to deal with it together. It's really one of the most rewarding things about swim run as well, is that you've achieved, you know, it as a team. So, you know, technically there is the rule with the distance between one another, but it's really more than the rules. It's just the genesis of this whole event. So, you know, for teams, again, just stay with your teammate. And for solo athletes, you know, your teammate looks the same. It's this little rest tube right here, but you know, join up with other solo athletes or other teams who are in and around you.
All right. Anything else to add, Brent?
No, that all sounds great. We're excited about the weekend. Excited about racing.
Yeah, one thing about course signage. So, you know, this is not the type of swim run's not the type of event where we have an abundance of volunteers out there holding your hand and taking you through the course, telling you when to turn, telling you, you know, feeding you along the way. This is a self-sufficient event where you take care of yourself and take care of your teammate out there. With the swim exits, you're going to look for these big 10-foot teardrop flags that are neon yellow. They should be visible. They are very visible on every lake except for that one twin lake off the back, which is a really short swim. It gets hidden by the trees a little bit, but that's for long course only. We figure it out, but that's the most difficult one to see. And then major intersections are marked with a sign, like a yard sign that has a directional arrow on it. And then periodically throughout the trail, just as reassurance, we have flags that are draped on from a clothespin off a tree branch. And those are guidance markers just to let you know that you're still on the right track. If there's any kind of like major turn or deviation in the trails, we tend to mark a bit heavier with the flagging. And then if it's a long straightaway that just, runs for a couple 100 meters at a time, we might be a little more sparing with our flags. But all that to say, you do need to keep your heads up while you're out on the trails. If you've gone, a couple 100 yards or, half a mile without having seen any course signage, that should be a major flag to you that you aren't on the right track. And then go to where the last point where you saw flags were, pick up your head and look to where you should always be able to see some sort of flagging to let you know which direction you're going. But the course signage is fairly simple, just the flags, the directional arrows, and the swim exit teardrop flags.
All right. That might have been our shortest one to date, guys.
Well, it's because it's going to be the longest actual race.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So if you guys have any questions, please email me. I'm going to start traveling actually tomorrow morning, so it may take just a little bit longer to get back to you. But I can't remember not being able to take care of someone. So we take care of pretty much all requests and try to work with you guys. So if I don't get back to you right away, don't panic. I got you, and we'll get you taken care of. So
Aaron, I would just reiterate that, we have fielded a lot of emails just saying, hey, lodging is super tight or really expensive on the island, which is why we did take out this Camp Moran option with the cabins. So if you haven't found lodging yet, please go to that, or whatever the situation might be. But just know that is a price point option out there. And as of last check, there was still availability.
there's quite a few. Yeah.
Okay, so there is still availability, but we did that. We hadn't done that for a couple of years. We did that for the first 3 years of the race. We didn't do it the last year, so we brought it back. So yeah, definitely use that Camp Moran as an option for lodging.
Let me jump in real quick. There is something I just thought of, because we get probably the most emails we get is how to make changes or add-ons to registration. So I'm going to real quick just show everyone watching where that's at. And so on all the race pages, it's the same, where you can get a little tutorial about it. If you don't know how to log into your run sign up and edit your registration, whatever we allow you to edit, like some information and add-ons and things like that. Down here under registration policies and deadlines, this is on every page. It's on the FAQs. You'll see where it says run sign up account self-management how-to tutorials. Click that, and you have 5 choices here, all very detailed. They're very short, easy to understand. You can follow along, and you should be able to change anything. The only problem you might run into is if we've set a date that has passed a deadline, then maybe it's all in vain. You get there and you can't do it. If that's the case, just email me and we'll see what we can do. But this should get you to where you can add on the Camp Moran stay or whatever else you need to do. Okay, so just keep in mind that's where it's at and how you do it.
Great. Well, I think that's all I got. Brent, I'm going to pass back to you for closing words. But Aaron, thank you for running through the reg. And folks, yeah, we're just can't wait to see you guys next week. This is an exciting one. Going through the course just got me super pumped to want to race with y'all. But we're gonna get that course set up for you. So we're gonna get our exercise in on Friday and Saturday, setting that up. Brent, back to you for the last word, Maestro.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just excited to see everybody. Orcas is an amazing island. Camp Moran's a beautiful, beautiful place, and you guys are all in for a great race.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you soon, everybody.